Good morning or afternoon. My name is Vishakh Bastin Anthony, student number 6626890 of University of Wollongong, Dubai. I'm here to explain my fin111 midterm questions. fin111 midterm question 1. For a detailed explanation of this question, I will be talking about the situation in Indonesia. Since the coronavirus pandemic, they came up with a stimulus plan with a value of 22.92 trillion rupiah, which is $2.18 billion. And its main goal was to save its economy from the coronavirus pandemic. Different central banks around the world, like the Bank of England and Bank of Japan, also consider taking into actions by cooling down the markets and strengthening their economies during the crisis. The Bank of Indonesia reduced their interest rates by 25 points in the previous month, and they purchased government bonds worth 6 trillion rupiah. And the government did warn that the economic growth will decrease to 4.7% in the first 3 months. Several sectors like the housing industry, airline industry, and tourism industry also had an advantage in these physical incentives. In tourism, the government will increase their taxes for a period of 3 months in hotels, restaurants, and Indonesia's top 10 tourist spots. In airline industry, there has been a huge decrease in for airline tickets due to decrease in demand. So what the airline industry is did that they sold their jet fuel. They sold the jet fuel at a price of airline which would help them in offering 30% discount on quarter of their seats. In the housing sector, the government of Indonesia is introducing more than 331 million US dollars for more than 15 million poor households. When the government of Indonesia is in a debt position, countries like USA and Japan are the major contributors for Indonesia. They contribute products like bilateral loans, multilateral loans, and bonds for a credit period, which is the 3/3 of the overall Indonesian citizens' debt. Thank you. fin111 question to answer. So the three commercial banks I chose were Emirates NBD, Citibank, and First Abu Dhabi Bank. In Emirates NBD, customers can purchase various cards like Platinum Card, Platinum Plus Card, and more. They have a monthly interest rate of 3.25% and an annual interest rate of 37.63%. In Citibank, customers can purchase various cards like Citi Premier, Citi Prestige, and Citi Cashback. They charge a normal interest rate of 3.25% monthly and an annual percentage of 39%. And these interest rates can vary from 3.10% monthly to 3.40% monthly. And it depends on different cards. Then in First Abu Dhabi Bank, customers can purchase various cards like Visa Platinum Card, Visa Infinite Card, and more. And they have a monthly interest rate of 3.50, and the interest rate can vary from 3.25% per monthly to 3.50% per monthly. And I have calculated the effective interest rate for Emirates NBD. The effective interest rate is the 42.8%. It is compounded semi-annually. In Citibank, it is 39%, which is compounded annually, and First Abu Dhabi Bank, it is 42%, it is compounded annually. And so, in conclusion, I would recommend purchasing the Citibank credit card because it has a lesser effective rate comparing to the other two credit cards. Thank you. fin111 midterm question 3. First one is United Arab Emirates. In United Arab Emirates, the interest rate yield curve according to the graph is normal. The interest rate decisions are made by the Central Bank of UAE, and they expect their interest rate to be 1.50% by the quarter end of this year. In Australia, according to the graph, the interest rate yield curve is downward, and the interest rate decisions are made by the Reserve Bank of Australia, and they expect their interest rate to be 0.25% by the quarter end of this year. In Europe, according to the graph, the interest rate yield curve is downward. The interest rate decisions are made by the Governing Council of the European Central Bank, and they expect their interest rate to be 0.00% by the quarter end of this year. In United States, the interest rate yield curve is normal, and the decision makers of the interest rates are divided by the board of the governing general governs of the Federal Reserve and Federal Open Market Community, and they expect their interest rate to be 0.25% by the quarter end of this year. In China, the yield curve is inverted. Inverted yield curve means it represents a specific condition in which the long-term debt tools have lower fees than the short-term debt tools of a similar credit quality. The interest rate decisions are made by the People's Bank of China, and we expect their interest rates to be 3.8% by the quarter end of this year. The reason that all these interest rates are there's a change in these interest rates and the yield curve is that due to the rise in COVID-19, the many countries are trying to boost their economy, and in many countries there has been an increase in unemployment, decrease in schools, closure of workforces, and more. Thank you. fin111 midterm question 4. So the whole point of the money market dealing simulation is learning how to make profits and teamwork. Our professor Dr. Vikash Ramaya has given us several steps before the dealing simulation started. These steps included forming a groups of 5 members each, learning the basics, knowing how the money market works, and showing us videos of previous students working on the dealing simulation. He also held a practice session where we were able to learn how the borrowing and lending works. And me and my group members were able to discuss strategies after the practice session. We discussed on having 2 members as borrowers, 2 members as lenders, and one person recording the transaction. The dating simulation started around 11:30 p.m. and once it started, we went ahead with borrowing, then went ahead with lending, and then it went in an alternative manner. The goal was to make 30 transactions, but we were able to make 34 transactions and made a profit of $34 million. This was an amazing experience for me, my group members, and other students as well. And this has helped me to know how the money market works in the real life situations. And I thank our professor Dr. Vikash Ramaya for this opportunity. And like I said, without teamwork, this wouldn't have been possible. Thank you.